Hello, friends. Disruptive Discourses, the Unconventional Commentary. Dialogues on Self, Society, and Spirituality. So, this series is an ongoing discussion about the chapters and the topics discussed in this book. So, today, uh, let's walk through this chapter called Encoding Questions via Decoding the Secrets. Are our minds just another shredding machine to process the creative waste of the entertainment moguls? So, in this talk, I was discussing about disruptors, disruptive thinking, and the perks and risk associated with disruptive thinking. So, we are living in a generation where people are obsessed with the answers or fantasizing about the beauty of the answers and not very much keen about asking questions. While asking questions is an highly intellectual activity, nevertheless, we need to have some amount of effort to exert in that activity. We cannot continue to be always on the receiving end, to be always on the side in which we are heard. We need to ask questions to make our lives and others' lives better. I think that's very important. The chapter starts with the disruptors, the antagonists. Disruption is an act or thought that runs against the status quo. Mind you, the majority of people will not like it. You disrupt a classroom the moment you ask unexpected questions, and your professor or your teacher or even your colleagues may not have expected to ask disruptive questions in the language of social media will not get so many likes, so many hearts to support your effort. The people who ask questions are always seen as unfriendly or even rude, right from our primary school classrooms, where people who ask too many questions are not liked by the teacher or by the colleagues. The discussion here is not about asking questions only in the classrooms. We need to ask questions while we are in a family, in a society, and a country at large. We have to be critical to the media and society at large when we are told that this is the best way of doing something, of thinking something. So, disruption in a positive sense is to challenge the status quo when it runs against the spirit of humanity. We cannot afford to just swallow any pill which our textbooks or which the popular media simply grants us. We have to take it with criticism, we have to take it objectively. Just because something is new or modern does not mean that we have to accept everything that the popular culture delivers at our doorstep. So we are living in an age obsessed with search results. Not much importance is given to the question, while the emphasis is given on the answers. We are also used to answering others, whether customer feedback for the concerned corporate bodies or intrusive authorities. We are put to sleep by the lullaby of answers as we shy away from raising any meaningful questions. In our culture, asking questions, critical questions, is not very encouraged. We are told to accept the results, the answers we get, whether it's internet companies or even certain popular celebrities. Critical thinking is fading day by day, and we get excited with results, with answers, whether it's from the most popular search engines or chatbots. I'm suggesting here that we need to be champions of questions and not just answers. So, the next subheading which comes in this chapter is about wearing others' costumes as an imitation of not only a wardrobe but also living as a shadow to other cultures. Why then are only a few selected people able to change the course of history? What enables them to pave the paths for us to obediently and obsessively tread upon? Why do we aspire, metaphorically, to wear costumes fashioned after their thoughts? Why do we imitate the fad and fashion of a geographical and cultural other? Why do we not dare to question the utterly imitative material presented in the name of popular culture? So we see there has been in the past 100 years or so a growing tendency to imitate the other. When we say global culture, it usually means of one culturally dominant geographical area. So we are imitating another culture in the name of fashion, in the name of globalization. So this is where we need to ask ourselves, why them? Why do they not imitate our culture? Why do we only imitate their culture and not they imitate our culture? Why do we fascinate over the food they eat and they are not impressed with the dress we wear? These are disruptive questions which we need to ask. So, popular culture is one hotspot where the questioning culture is really absent. In popular culture, we just imitate, we follow, we kind of follow their lifestyle without asking critically important questions. Imitation is the fruits of feeling inferior to other cultures. We will only imitate X culture only when we feel that that culture is superior to our own. So that's an area where we need to train ourselves, our young children's minds, that feeling inferior to another culture is not the way to proceed, is not the way to step into our future. We need to feel confident and strong. We need to feel strongly about our own cultural ethos, our own values, our attire. These are very important because human beings were created original. A smart person is original in spirit, as well as a less smarter, a less intelligent person is also original. His uh, lack of intelligence is his normalcy, and somebody's smartness is their normalcy as well. So we need both intelligent and ignorant people in this universe. So originality is unique, is very inevitable to human personality. Imitation kills that originality. So that's where we need to step in and make this correction. Then the next discussion is about the irrational religion and super rational God. We readily brand the early man's beliefs in unseen beings as old fashioned and superstitious. We mock their religious practices as unscientific. We are amused by their reverence for certain personalities and texts. We enthusiastically define superstitions as those ideas and practices that fail the rational or scientific test. Religious beliefs of almost all faiths are not supported by rationality to a greater extent. In fact, the very gate to religion is belief in the unseen, better understood as the unknown. God, or the concept of God, is the only natural phenomenon that does not fit or submit to human reason. Obviously, that is the reason why He is God and the rest are not. So, while religious beliefs may sound unnatural or superstitious to some minds, God is an inevitable reality. The world cannot exist without its creator, and God is the only exception to a human reason, and that is why He is God, and the rest are not. So we cannot be adamant that God has to fit in our human reasoning or understanding, because our reason, our understanding comes under God. And while faith we may discuss in a template of reason or understanding, God simply cannot be constrained, He cannot be confined within the four walls of our room of reason. Uh, our room of reason is a part of the entire house of God. So we cannot judge at the entire house by the simple room inside it. Now we are going to discuss about the wardrobe malfunctions of superheroes. So here again, as we discussed earlier, the popular culture comes with its own ironies, paradoxes, and reason defying patterns. So I'll just read this excerpt. Nevertheless, in the same spirit of our disruptive criticism of blind faith, why do we not maintain the same critical outlook towards popular culture? While we may be amused at a small child wearing his or her attire in the wrong order, we fanatically applaud the wardrobe malfunctions of superheroes wearing their undergarments outward. Science fiction, therefore, is the worst oxymoron of our times. So, I'm posing the question here that if we are critical towards religion, towards faith, why do we not able to keep the same spirit of criticism towards popular culture? Notably, the superheroes in our comics or films. So we may make we make fun of those young children who, by mistake, in their ignorance, in their innocence, they wear their dress in the wrong order. But while we see the superheroes who sometimes in their depiction they're shown wearing their inner garments outside their dress. So why do we not make fun of those superheroes in the same spirit? So science fiction is the worst oxymoron of our times, because science, which is built on the name of reasoning, understanding, and common sense for the sane people with the sane minds, having the word fiction next to it, that's really ridiculous. So, popular culture deserves the same criticism, objective criticism, as we do it for faith.